The first time I realized this wasn't just annoying HOA drama was when I saw two grown men on my dad's porch, one hand on his doorknob, the other flashing a cheap plastic badge like it meant something. 10 minutes later, real police lights lit up the whole street, and the HOA president was screaming my name like I'd committed a felony. My name's Ethan Carter, and I'm not even supposed to be part of this neighborhood story. I just come by on weekends to check on my dad. Frank Carter, 68, retired, the kind of guy who thinks the biggest problem in life should be a squeaky step on the porch. His house sits right on the edge of a development called Cedar Pines Estates. But here's the part that matters. His property isn't in it. It never has been. Different lot line, different plat map, different everything. Which didn't stop the Maple Ridge Homeowners Association from acting like they owned his front yard. It started with a letter, formal font, fake authority, the whole vibe. Notice of non-compliance. According to them, my dad's porch railing was an unapproved color and negatively impacting community aesthetics. My dad read it once, sighed, and set it on the counter like junk mail. "We don't belong to them," he said. "So, we're not doing anything." I wish that had been the end. 2 days later, a guy shows up at the door wearing a tactical vest like he's auditioning for a security job. Early 30s buzz cut, mirrored sunglasses, and a badge that looked like it came from a costume shop. "I'm Kyle Denton," he says, standing on the porch like he paid rent. "HOA enforcement. Your father has multiple violations." My dad doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't puff up. He just points calmly at the line where the porch meets the yard. "You're done talking. Step off my property." Kyle smirks like he's used to people folding. "If you don't comply, we'll escalate. Fines, liens, legal action." That's when I walked into the kitchen and heard the word lien, and my stomach dropped like someone kicked it. Not because I believed him, because I knew how scary that word sounds to an older man who just wants peace. I stepped into the doorway and said, "Show me the paperwork that proves this house is under your homeowners association." Kyle doesn't blink. It's in the radius. The radius, I repeat like he's joking. He taps his badge with one finger. We handle it. My dad closes the door without another word, and for a moment I honestly thought that was the boundary. Door closed, problem over. But Linda Harrow doesn't understand boundaries. Linda Harrow H.O. A president was the type who didn't walk, she marched. Late 40s, perfect hair, perfect nails, that rigid smile people wear when they love being in charge. She didn't just want compliance, she wanted submission. By the end of the week, the letters doubled, then tripled. Different violations, different numbers, different threats. All of it wrapped in that same poison. You have 10 days to correct or further action will be taken. Then one morning, a yellow paper got slapped on my dad's door like a parking ticket. Mandatory investigation. A signature at the bottom, HOA officer. Not HOA board, not property manager, officer. My dad tore it off, threw it away, and went back to his coffee. But I could see it in the way his jaw tightened. He was trying to pretend it didn't bother him, because admitting it bothered him meant they'd already won something. That night I checked his security cameras. And yeah, there it was. Kyle again, plus another guy, taller, heavier, hanging back like muscle. Shane Rudd. They weren't just walking by. They were stopping at windows, leaning in, taking photos, pointing, talking, like they were building a case for something. And then I heard Kyle say it clear as day through the camera mic. "If he doesn't open up next time, we just push it." I replayed it twice just to make sure my brain wasn't inventing it. I didn't sleep much after that. Because at that point, this wasn't about porch paint. This was about two strangers deciding they could test a door on an old man's house and call it enforcement. The next afternoon, I sat at the kitchen table staring at that footage, thinking in circles. Call a lawyer. Call the county file. A report preemptively. Part of me wanted to drag my dad to my place for a week and let this blow over. And then this thought hit me. Cold, practical, ugly. If I leave, they're going to come back. And if my dad opens the door because he's being polite, they'll walk right in like they belong there. That's the moment I felt the helplessness for real. Not dramatic, not poetic, just the kind that makes your hands go numb. I actually wondered if I'd made it worse by pushing back, like, should I have just smiled and said sure and then handled it quietly later? But then I looked at the video again, at Kyle's hand on the window frame, at the way Shane kept scanning the porch like he was measuring it, and I realized something simple. You don't negotiate with people who are already practicing breaking in. So I stayed. Late afternoon sunlight slanting through the trees, my dad sitting on the porch with a glass of iced tea like he's daring the world to act normal. And right on schedule, Kyle and Shane come walking up the path like they own it. No greeting, no sir, no courtesy. Kyle steps up to the door, reaches for the knob like he's done it before, like it's routine. I opened the door fast enough that it startled him. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I just planted myself in the doorway and said, "Stop. This house is not under your HOA. You touch that handle again, you're trespassing." Shane gives me this slow grin. Everything within a mile is our jurisdiction. Jurisdiction, I repeat, and I can't help it. There's a bitter little laugh that slips out. You guys are not law enforcement. Kyle's smile goes thin. We have authority granted by the Homeowners Association. I tilt my head. Then show me a deed, a plat map, a court order, anything that isn't printed on your own letterhead. He doesn't answer that. He just shifts his weight, and I see his hand go down to his side. That's when the baton comes out. A black expandable baton snapping open with that sharp metal click that makes your body react before your brain even finishes the sentence. My heart kicks hard because it's one thing to be harassed. It's another thing to watch someone bring a weapon to your dad's door and act like they're the victim. Kyle steps forward like he's about to teach a lesson. Shane moves to the side like he's blocking the path. And all I can think is, this is exactly what the camera warned me about. Kyle swings not full force but enough. And I move on instinct, step in, catch the arm, turn the wrist, drive his momentum down. The baton clatters on the porch boards, and Kyle's face changes from smug to panic in half a second. Shane reaches toward me fast, and I shove him back with my shoulder while keeping Kyle's arm locked. It's messy. It's loud. It's real. My dad stands up behind me and says, "Steady as a post, I told you to leave." Kyle's struggling, swearing, trying to twist free. Shane's puffing up like he's about to rush me again. And then a voice cuts through it from across the street, sharp, terrified, furious. "Ethan, I'm calling the police. Evelyn Brooks." My dad's neighbor has her phone up already, fingers flying. She's not asking questions. She's not waiting for explanations. She saw two men on an old man's porch with a weapon, and she did what sane people do. I keep my voice low and tight. "Good. Tell them we have video." Because we do. The cameras caught everything, every step, every reach, every threat, every baton. The first patrol car rolls up, fast tires crunching, gravel lights washing over the trees. Then another. And suddenly Kyle and Shane aren't so brave. The deputy sheriff, Dalton Reeves, steps out, takes one look at the baton on the porch, takes one look at Kyle's fake badge, and his eyes narrow like a door locking. "What's going on?" he asks, calm, but not friendly. I point toward the camera above the door. "We have footage. They threatened to force entry yesterday. Came back today and tried." Kyle starts talking over me. "He attacked us. We're HOA officers." Sheriff Reeves doesn't even blink at that. "You're what?" And that's when the real star of the show arrives. Linda Harrow's SUV whips around the corner and stops so hard, it rocks. She storms up the driveway with a clipboard clutched to her chest like it's a badge of office. "Officers," she yells, pointing at me like I'm on trial. "Arrest him! He assaulted my people!" Sheriff Reeves turns his head slowly toward her. "Ma'am, these are not officers." Linda's smile twitches. "They are authorized by the Homeowners Association." Sheriff Reeves holds up Kyle's plastic badge between two fingers like it's contaminated. "Then your association is authorizing impersonation." Linda's face goes pale, then red. "This man, this family has been violating standards for weeks." My dad steps forward, voice quiet but razor straight. "We don't belong to your HOA." Linda snaps, "Everybody belongs. That's how communities work." Sheriff Reeves looks at her for a long second, then says, "No, that's not how law works." He motions to his deputy, "Run their names." Kyle tries one last time. "We're just enforcing." "Stop talking," the deputy cuts in. Linda's still sputtering, still pushing, still trying to bend the scene into her script, until Sheriff Reeves asks one simple question. "Do you have any legal document that gives you authority over this property?" Linda opens her mouth, and nothing comes out. Because the truth is, she never had authority. She had confidence. She had intimidation. She had people who were used to backing down. And then she had two goons on a porch with a baton. On camera. in front of real law enforcement. When the cuffs clicked onto Kyle's wrists, his eyes darted to Linda like he expected her to save him. When Shane got detained, he stared at the ground like he'd suddenly remembered consequences exist. Linda took a step back like she might run, like her legs were finally catching up with reality. Sheriff Reeves stepped into her path. "Ma'am, you're not leaving." Her clipboard slipped in her hand. The neighborhood got very quiet, and the last thing I saw before they put her in the back of the car was that perfect HOA smile cracking right down the middle because power looks real until it meets the law. Lesson paper authority is nothing without legal authority, and bullies fold the moment they can't control the story anymore.